Prepare!
Hello, Bino here, and thank you for joining me for my Master Jewel Crafting Guide. If you like what you see, please hit the like and subscribe button below. It helps out a ton as I'm trying to grow the channel. In this video, I'm going to be covering everything you need to know about Master Jewel Crafting. I'm going to start out with the basics of jewel crafting, and then I'm going to move on to everything you need to know about gems, from sockets to stats. Then I'm going to cover prospecting before moving on to training and skilling up. After that, I will go over where you can get all of your master level designs. So what is jewel crafting? Well, jewel crafting is a new profession added in the Burning Crusade. It allows you to craft rings, necklaces, and trinkets, along with cutting gems to add to your gear with sockets. Being a jewel crafter will allow you to prospect ore for a chance to find gems and other crafting materials. Gems. Besides leveling up and a few other off pieces, gems are going to be the bulk of all the jewel crafting you will be doing. Gems can be put into gear with sockets. There are 4 types of gem sockets you need to know about: red, yellow, blue, and meta sockets. You can put any color of gem into any socket, but if you want to get the socket bonus, you will need to match the gem color to the socket. To do this, you have 6 gem colors to work with. For red sockets, you can use red, orange, and purple gems. In blue sockets, you can put blue, purple, and green gems. And for yellow sockets, you can use yellow, orange, and green gems. For example, here is a helmet with a 4 strength bonus if you use 1 red gem, 1 blue gem, and 1 yellow gem each. Not all bonuses are worth trying to get, but something you should keep into mind when you are gemming your gear. Now that you know about sockets and the colors of gems, why does that even matter? Well, gems give you extra stats, and each primary color of gem has certain types of stats that they can give you. For red gems, there is strength, attack power, spell damage, agility, parry, dodge, healing power, or spell power. Blue gems can give you mana per 5 seconds, stamina, spirit, or spell penetration. And lastly, yellow gems can give you spell crit, hit rating, resilience, haste, critical strike, defense, or intellect. As for the secondary colored gems, they give a mix of their primary colored gems stats. For example, a green gem will give you a mix of blue and yellow stats, like the Enduring Talosite shown here, which has 4 defense rating, which is a yellow stat, and 6 stamina, which is a blue stat. The last type of gem is the meta gem. Meta gems can only be socketed into meta sockets. Meta sockets can only be found on helmets. Meta gems will also have gem requirements on them. For example, the chaotic Skyfire Diamond requires that you have 2 blue gems socketed into your gear, but you can use secondary colored gems to meet these requirements. If you have 2 purple gems, it would still meet the requirements for 2 blue gems for this meta gem. Meta gems can only be attained by Alchemist Transmute. Each transmute requires 9 common gems and 4 primals. The last group of gems you need to know about is one of the perks of being a jewel crafter, the BOP gems. These gems are more powerful versions of the gems that everyone else can use, but they are unique equipped, so you can only have 1 of each type equipped at a time. I have listed all 7 that are available here. Prospecting is where you're going to get most of your gems. To prospect ore, you will need 5 of the type of ore you want to prospect, and then you need to use the prospecting skill you learned with jewel crafting. Something to remember, only common ore can be prospected, so if you're holding on to any of that dark iron ore, you're not going to be able to prospect it. Each prospect gives you a chance to get 1 to 3 gems. On this chart, I listed the 3 types of ore that you'll be able to prospect to have a chance at getting master level gems. With thorium ore, you have just over a 1.5% chance to get a common Burning Crusade gem. Fel iron ore gives you a 17% chance at the common gems and about a 1% chance at the rare gems. Prospecting adamantite will allow you to collect adamantite powder, which you'll need for a lot of crafting patterns. And it also gives you a 19% chance at the common gems and a 3% chance at the rare gems. One thing to note, these percents are your chance to get each color of gem, not necessarily whether you'll get a common gem or a rare gem. Okay, so Now that we know what jewel crafting is going to look like, we can get to work. The first thing you're going to need to do when you hit Outlands is visit your trainer. For the Horde, you need to see Kaelin and Thralmar, and for the Alliance, you need to see Tatiana and Honor Hold. You need to go to your faction hub in Hellfire to start because they sell a lot of designs that you're going to need to level up from 300 to 310. After that, you can train the new designs from any of the other trainers. Hamar in the Aldor Rise, and we're just going to call him Jazz in Netherstorm. When you are leveling up, you're going to have to make a lot of choices based on what you have available at the time. As you go through these slides, if a design does not have the place you get it from noted, it is a design you can learn from your trainer or a design you buy from the Hellfire trainers. When you are skilling up from 300 to 310, you're going to be cutting whatever common gems you have. I listed the cuts that will be available to you for each step, but there is a few things you need to keep in mind. Firstly, don't cut all your flame specialites in this stage because you're going to need 5 for one of the next steps. Secondly, save 10 Azure Moonstones and 5 Deep Paradots because there's nothing else really to level from 321 to 325. And lastly, save a mix of 10 Blood Garnets or Golden Dranites because you're going to need them to go from 311 to 315. Once you hit 310, you're going to make 5 rings. You can pick either of these rings depending on what gems you have. They are both learned from your trainer. For levels 316 to 320, you have more options if you've already built up some rep. But really, you're probably going to be cutting the Enduring Flame Specirite. It's the only design you can learn from your trainer in this range. Your last step using common gems is going to be 321 to 325, and you're going to be doing this by making 5 Azure Moonstone rings. At 326, you're going to want to make 15 Miracle Adamantites. Even if you get more than 10 levels that you need, make all 15. You're going to be using them. At 325 is also when you can start prospecting Adamantite ore, which is how you're going to get your Adamantite powder. At 336, you're going to want to make heavy Adamantite rings until you hit 350. Once you hit 350, that's where it starts getting a lot harder. Most of the designs that you can cut to level up in this range are world drops. 351 to 355 are rare gem cuts. There is around 32 world drop designs in this range. Chances are if you were super unlucky and did not get any leveling up, you can find a few in the auction house. But I also listed the 3 designs that you can get for sure with only a little luck. Purified Shadow Pearls you can learn from your trainer, but the 2 gem cuts you can only get from controlling Halal. So if your server is like mine and 90% Horde, you may or may not be able to get them. At 356 to 360 you have a few more options of items to make, but they are all designs that drop from mobs in the world. The upside is they will guarantee you levels, but they are not cheap to make, and really none of them are very good. A bonus though is that rare gems do not turn green until 365, so you can choose just to cut gems that you're going to be selling anyway until you get to 360. That's what I plan on doing. When you hit 360 you can cut your BOP gems, and you can use them to get a few fast levels. They are unique equip, but you can keep the extras in the bank for when you get new gear or you have to change your gems. There's some more jewelry you can make in this range, but the materials are a little outrageous for how bad the pieces are. You will save a lot of gold even if you don't even use the BOP gems over making the jewelry because they only take 1 rare gem to make. When you hit 365 you're going to want to start making meta gems. Again, like the rare gems, most of the good patterns are world drops. But I did list 2 of the easiest ones to get here for you. At 370 the meta gems will turn yellow, but they are still your best path to 375. If you want, at 370 you can make the Jewel Crafter only trinkets. They will guarantee you levels, but the cost to make them is pretty high, so they're not really worth it unless you're going to be using them. Now that you're a master Jewel Crafter, I'm going to tell you where you can find all your designs. For the designs in this video, I did it a little bit different from the way I've done it in past videos. There's just too many different designs that I felt like pasting them onto slides would be too much. So what I've done is I created a spreadsheet with all the designs broken down into groups so that they are easier to find. Alright, so let's take a look at the spreadsheet. On all of the sheets, the designs are organized by the level that you can learn them, and I've also copied in the levels that they go yellow, green, and gray. If it is a gem, I added the stats that it gives in the stats column, and if there's anything special you need to know about the design, it is in the notes column. There is a tab for trainer designs, and a tab for world drop designs, which is the bulk of the rare quality gems. The big ones to keep an eye out for are Teardrop Living Ruby, Thick Dawnstone, Solid Star Valoon, Rigid Dawnstone, Great Dawnstone, Delicate Living Ruby, Bright Living Ruby, and Bold Living Ruby. On the Mob Drop tab, you will find mostly rings and necklaces, but one big one to keep an eye out for is the Chaotic Skyfire Diamond. This is also where you'll find the epic gem designs that can drop from some of the bosses in Hyjal. But don't worry, if you don't get lucky you can buy them from the rep vendor when Sunwell comes out. On the Reputation tab is where you're going to find most of the meta gems. Speaking of which, one you're going to want to get ASAP is the Relentless Earthstorm Diamond from Consortium Exalted. This is also where you're going to find all of your BOP gems, so make sure you look and see which ones you're going to want to start working for as soon as possible. The rest of the epic gems are also on this tab that you'll be able to buy from the Scales of Sand or the Shattered Sun Offensive. Next up is the Vendor tab. All but one of these designs are sold by your trainers in Hellfire. And you will use a lot of them leveling up, so when you go to your trainer, just buy them all so you don't have to go back. And the last tab is the Master Sheet, with all the designs listed in order of when you can train them. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the guide. I hope you enjoyed it and got some good information. Please, if it helped you out, give it a like and hit that subscribe button. I have a lot of TBC content planned and in the works already. Thank you again. Bino, signing off.